Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Cully and Conlon. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, my beautiful entrepreneurial cohort and co host who has 48 jobs and counting, Miss Maria Conlon. Maria, hello.
Hello. How are we doing?
Oh, it's our favorite time of the week. So
Oh, we get to
this is
catch
this
up.
this is this is just the peak. So it doesn't get any better.
It
It
does
doesn't
when
get any better.
UConn wins and the Giants win. I mean, come
It,
on.
it does.
You bookend your week. That's pretty good, man.
It does. It does. Yes, you gotta take it when you get it, and that doesn't happen very often.
No.
But
They
we
messed up a lot of
actually
survivor pools, I'm sure, this past weekend. So
we had a spirited discussion about UConn yesterday on our other show, Husky Huddle. Oh, that reminds me to thank our proud sponsors, Procyon Partners. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, he always delivers exceptional outcomes, and he is going to get me a Tesla very soon. So thank you, Sean.
Sean and president in the same sentence makes
Doesn't
it.
it seem strange?
No, you know what's funny? He should run for like actual president.
I
I would.
I I,
I
I
would vote
think
for.
he would. I,
Yeah.
I
You know.
think he would. I think he would. I think he would. He uh, he would be perfect. He is great at managing people.
Yeah.
Um,
And he went to college
he
pre-social media time, so I think he's good. There's no
yeah. Oh,
like
he's great. He's great. Yeah.
there's no lingering videos out there. So
No,
just the ones
no,
that I have saved in my memory.
there's no lingering videos. No, no, but yeah, he was at the. I didn't even know this. He got mad at me when I said the rugby house because I thought he lived there. He's like, no, I never lived there. I'm gonna
No.
make it apparent. I never lived there. I
Yeah.
just partied there. I never lived there. But I mean, he built that company from the ground up, which I just think is amazing.
Yeah.
He started it and he's grown it, and now it's in the top 50 fastest growing companies in the country as far as the amount of money I think they manage. So they've been doing very, very well, and he deserves it. He had his son had a tough battle with leukemia, and it was good to see that he beat that and is doing very, very well now. So he deserves it. Believe me.
Excellent.
Um, I first wanted to ask, of course, about your brief but fun trip to Phoenix on
Yeah,
Thursday.
it was we've kind of the intimate group of us have kind of known for a while now that this was probably going to be her, Diana's last season.
Yeah.
Um, we knew that that was potentially her last home game unless they split with Minnesota. Um, Wednesday night, that would be her last time playing at the X Factor. So a bunch of us took the trip out. So I flew out. I left my house at 4:30 in the morning Thursday, landed in Phoenix at 10 a.m. and then chilled. Our room wasn't ready. We chilled by the pool for a little bit. Got to see some of our teammates and some of the girls, and then we headed over to the game. And it was really emotional.
Yeah, it was.
For
I
all of
saw
us.
some of it.
At one point, Jessica Moore Waldrop now,
Yeah.
and I looked at each other and we were like, this is like a piece of us is kind of dying today because she's the last one of
That
you know,
group.
our group that we played with that, was still playing and and I got to see a bunch of like her childhood friends that I hadn't seen since her wedding that we've known for years. And,
Her parents.
yeah, her parents who I hadn't seen since her wedding. And, they're so cute. They're great.
I love their parents. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, we all just kept saying, like, what are we going to do now? Because before it's like, all right, she's at Mohegan. Let's go watch her play, or this one's here. Let's go do that. And, that sense of, not that there isn't a reason to follow it anymore, but that like direct tie is not there anymore. And I'm just so happy and proud of her. I mean, the way she's represented herself and her sport and her family and her friends over the course of her 20 years in the WNBA and before is it's just amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of us there, and we got to go out after the game and take some pictures at half court.
Yeah. I saw those. Those are real nice.
Yeah, so it was they did not win. They kind of got their butts beat a little bit, but it's kind of funny because she probably wouldn't have even played in that game because it was a meaningless game.
Yeah.
Ruby had the seventh seed locked up. There was no way that they were going to move up at all. So, it was kind of like, oh man, now I got to play and I got to turn it on because all my friends and family are here. So,
well, they put her in the fourth quarter too, right? Where she wasn't expected to play, or was that another?
they subbed
Yeah.
her in like with 3 minutes left, and then subsequently subbed her right back out so that
Yeah.
everybody could give her a standing O and pay her dues one last time there. And yeah, I mean, the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion, and to be able to do it at that age, it's amazing. And like as we've said before, the game has changed so much. So you got a lot of youngsters in the game. So it's I always laugh because I'm obviously still super competitive, and for like probably up until 5 years ago, I was still doing like CrossFit competitions, and I was going up against like these 20-year-olds. And I would say to myself, like, man, like, how do they have the stamina? And I'm like, wait a minute, they're 15 years younger than me. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have the wear and tear, and you don't correlate it until you've been through it.
I have a
So,
12-year-old daughter.
yeah, like, I mean, your legs, your lungs, like everything is just different, And so for her to be able to do it at this level for this long is just nothing short of amazing. So, we
I
got to,
think she is the greatest of all time as far
yeah.
as women's players. I mean, I know Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie. There's others up there,
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of greats. I think over the course of like, there's always those game changers. And when you look at the last 25 years of basketball, like her name is stapled on all of it, and
everywhere.
it's just it's really cool to see. Like Sue and I, before the game, I said to her, I go, outside of her, like who's the next oldest player? And like we were down a rabbit hole for a little bit, like trying to figure out who it is. And like Candace Parker would have been next, but she's already retired. Um, and I think like
Oh,
the closest is like Dewana Bonner at like 37. So you're talking about 5 years younger, which is still
yeah.
dramatic. I don't know how many people will be able to play at that level for as long as she did. And, so God bless.
Well,
I wish
she
her
she
the best.
she built that franchise and really made that a WNBA city. Like I feel when
Yep.
she went there, it completely transformed Phoenix altogether. And because of because of her personality, because of her charisma,
Yep.
because of her I don't give a shit attitude. I just think people fell in love with her, and she's always been so great with kids and so appreciative of her fans. I think that made a difference as well.
Yeah. It's always
And
special. You see someone like start and finish with the same organization because you really don't see that a lot. You see people hop around or whatnot. Sue did the same thing. Sue was with Seattle, her entire time. And I think there's something to be said for,
yeah,
retiring where you start and really saying like, no, this is where I want to be. I'm going to make a home here. I'm going to raise my family here. And, she'll always be that figure there in Phoenix. And it's just really cool. And we got to go to, Nike threw her like a big party afterwards at like this it was just like room on room on room. And we walk in. It was funny because they ordered In-N-Out burgers for everybody. So there was like 200
Oh,
out burgers and fries, which of course I don't eat meat, neither does she. So it was kind of ironic. But they also had like a vegan station and a vegan chef. So, so that was really cool. And so we got to connect a little bit and chat. And yeah, then we flew out the next morning. So I think today is the first day that like I feel human again. Because know, when you travel like that at my age, man,
oh, the recovery. I know the jet lag's awful. It's brutal.
you wouldn't think it because it's like, was I really there long enough to adjust? But you lose like hours of your life flying in the air.
And you're
But
up at 4 in the morning.
yeah, I mean, it was wild. I mean, Morgan and Ashley left. I roomed with them, and they had a flight at 6:30 in the morning Friday. So like we got back to the hotel at like 1. They probably slept for like 3 hours and then went over to the airport. And I was like, oh my God. My flight was at noon. So at least I got to sleep a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, we stayed at this awesome hotel called the Kimpton. It's right across from the arena. And I woke up Friday morning and the first thing I did was get online and order the sheets that they had in that bed. The sheets were like unbelievable. I've never slept in sheets like that.
Like silk sheets with like a
They were just
1,000 bread count or one of those.
they were like some like bamboo cotton. Uh,
Oh,
I think they get here tomorrow, so I'm like super pumped to put them on my bed. But yeah, it was a great time. It was good to see everybody, and then back to it. I did it like an adult thing over the weekend too. I had my garage. I've always wanted my garage floor to like be like get that cool like epoxy like
yeah.
stuff on it. And I was gonna do it myself, and then I realized how labor intensive it was gonna be, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, let's just pay to have somebody come in. So I'm super. It should be dry in about 2 hours. So I'm gonna go start putting my gym together in the garage. I'm super pumped about that. That's my adult thing from the weekend. So
So we received many requests
mhm.
to talk about Diana and do kind of a Diana episode and kind of go through your meeting her, relationship with her throughout the years, and if you can remember, the first time you met her and your first interaction and your
Yeah.
first year together. Because you came in after her, right?
No, she's my year.
You guys were the same time. Okay.
Yeah. So the first time I ever met Dee actually was at an AAU tournament out in Des Moines, Iowa. Uh,
Mm,
Played her team in the Elite Eight of the national tournament. Um, when we were 12, and obviously her 12 or 13, I
well,
it was might have been 13. And
wow.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, back then, that was like how you knew everybody, right? Like now there's so many AAU programs. Sometimes you just see people at elite camps and stuff, but there was a lot of hoorah around her. There was a lot of hoorah around me. So it was a big matchup back then. And you could just tell back then that she was larger than life. And then, I would see her a little bit more on the circuit over the course of the next couple of years. But my first like real interaction with her was freshman year. I remember she got in. So freshman year, it was AB and I were roommates, and then Jess, Morgan, and Dee had an end unit, and it was the three of them. They were like four doors down from us, over in Belden, over in Alumni Hall.
Yes.
And because she was coming from far away, her and Jess had already gotten there. Morgan had gotten there, and I was one of the last ones because I was from Connecticut to drive up. And I just remember opening the door, and Snoop Dogg was like blaring out of her speaker, and she was doing the crip walk in the middle of the dorm room. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be fun. Like, this is just so different, because you got Jess is from Alaska,
Alaska, yeah.
which is like, come on, like, what's in Alaska? You got Morgan from Vermont,
Yeah.
AB's from Pittsburgh, I'm from Connecticut, and then you got this girl from Chino, California, with just this huge personality. And like, she sees me, she runs over, gives me a big hug. And it was the five of us came in as freshmen. And our entire freshman year, it was like if you saw one of us, you saw all five of us. Like we just traveled in a pack. So we were dubbed, we called ourselves the fam. And
Right.
it just kind of stuck, you know. And then Morgan's sister came in the next year. And so
Oh, that's right.
we call her the adopted sister of the fam. It's not like the OG fam, but she was quickly adopted in. Um, you know, and I think like the five of us had such different personalities. It just worked, you
Yeah,
know.
you did.
We loved each other like sisters. We fought with each other like sisters, but like we went through it, you know, when you talk about when when you think about college and playing at that level, and the demands and the expectations on a daily basis. I mean, without each other, I don't know that any of us would get through it. And we had other teammates and stuff that we hung out with that we were close with, obviously, but the five of us were just that
Yeah,
was
it
it,
was a
you
special
know.
group for
Yeah.
sure.
So my junior senior year, I lived with Dee up in Hilltop Apartments. So we had one wing of Hilltop together, and then Jess and AB had the other end. Um, and it was just really, really fun. Obviously, one of my favorite memories is our freshman year. We were touted like we had one of the most talented rosters that you ever saw on paper. Like Diana was like the seventh man. So like think about that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
drop
I know.
off
I
the bench,
remember.
like sixth or seventh person. We had Shay Ralph, we had Svet, we had Swin, Sue, Tamika, Asia. I mean, we were just loaded. And, midway through the season, we got a couple of injuries. Svetlana went out with a season ending injury, and then Shay tore her ACL in the championship game of the Big East tournament. And then, we were rocking and rolling through the NCAA tournament. We meet up with Notre Dame in the national semifinal. And we had just beaten them in the Big
Big
East
East.
tournament. And D went like 0 for 15 that game, which was like unheard of. We were in foul trouble. It was crazy. And so we ended up losing, and the five of us were in the locker room, and I just remember we were crying, we were upset, and we all looked at each other and we said, "This is the last time we're going to feel this way." It's
Absolutely.
and like, you know, grandiose thoughts to say like, "All right, we're going to now win 3 in a row and we're never going to feel like this again." And then sure as shit, we win 3 in a row and we never felt like that again. So, um, obviously sophomore year we ran the table, went 39-0, and D was such a huge part of that. Sophomore year, and junior year was tough. We always say like our junior and senior years should have been flip-flopped. We graduated for um, first round draft picks. We were kind of like dubbed to like not even be good, and we went like 38-1 that year, and we won the national championship, which was like nobody had picked us to win, which was kind of nutty. And then we had 4 new freshmen come in that had to play a lot of minutes, very different personalities. And
Yeah.
then senior year, we lost like, I think we had 3 losses that year, which was crazy because we had everybody back. Um, but it was just a tough, tough year that year. And then, we put it together for the NCAA tournament and ended up winning. So, watching her and the amount of pressure that she was always under, being the star at UConn at Connecticut, which is, you can't even go to the mall without, 20
No,
people peppering you for different things. And, she always just handled it so well,
she did.
with grace. And, you're still trying to navigate being a college kid and being really far away from your family. I don't think her parents came out again until our senior year was the first
Yeah.
time they had been out. So, they would come to the Final Fours and they'd come to the games when we were out west. But, I just remember there wasn't a dry eye our senior night. And, obviously she's the first pick in the WNBA draft, and
Yeah.
everything she's been able to do since then, 6 gold medals. I mean, her basketball resume is like kind of ridiculous. Um, and again, like it's just the way she does things. And she's just the type of person where when you're in her company, she makes you feel like you're the most important person in the world. She has
She
that
does.
ability to just make everyone feel happy. Like I remember she's now been to both my weddings and yeah, it's funny to say, right? But my most recent wedding, which was a destination wedding out in Mexico, I had a lot of my friends out and they were kind of
I didn't get the invite to the second one.
it was small. It was really
I,
small.
that's
But
I
yeah,
got the
so but like the common like conversation I had with people who had never met her were like, she's so down to earth. Like you
yeah.
left that weekend feeling like, oh wow, like I'm cool with her, like I know her. Um and I think that her as a human is my favorite part. Obviously I marvel at her on the basketball court, but her as a friend, her and I have laughed together, we've cried together. She's been there for me in some of my darkest days and my happiest days. And there's just something to be said for, you don't have that with everybody
No.
you come in contact
No.
with, but and we don't talk every day. I mean, we talk pretty frequently through text, but I know, she's one of those people where if I picked up the phone and really needed something, she wouldn't think twice. Um, so I couldn't be happier for anyone to get everything that they deserve like her. People always say, was there jealousy on your guys' team? Like there was never any of that. Like,
Never. You guys were competitive, but you were never jealous. You
no,
always work together.
I was like, jealous of what? Like, I
Yeah.
was just happy to be a part of the ride, man. Like,
Yeah.
I was just happy to be um a blip on the story of her. And I don't think ever once in my entire life since I've known her where I was like, oh man, I'm really jealous of all the shit that she gets and blah blah blah. But like, no, like she deserves all of it and more.
I
Um,
agree.
so yeah,
I remember when Ed and I would come home from practice and Ashley and Dee would be sitting on our couch playing Madden, spitting sunflower seeds. And we would just look at each other like, wow, they're playing Madden. They're playing Madden and they're spitting seeds. Like I never would have expected that in a million years. And then just hanging out with her was always so much fun because, like you said, um, she never big timed anyone, whoever you were. She was, she would be friendly with you and talk with you, and she would want to get to know you. I still remember she left tickets, sure, Ashley left tickets for my parents to come to the Syracuse game when they played at Syracuse, and my father tried to bring boxes of half moons for the girls for you guys after the game. It's a Utica thing,
yep,
and he showed up with the boxes, and the security guard was like, what is this? Are you kidding me?" And he's no, this Stephen told me to bring him. My son told me to bring him and give him to the girls. And I think he finally took them and brought them back and left them for you guys in the locker room.
yeah.
But
What's funny is so Morgan and I were student assistants
yeah,
our year at UConn, and we went down to where the heck were we? Oh no, we were out. We actually played at Arizona State, and Dee was out there in Phoenix, and we lost. Um, and of course, when you lose, and especially when you're not supposed to lose, but Arizona State was really good that year. They had really good talent. Long story short, we lose, and coach has like so she's waiting to hang out with us back at the hotel, and coach decides to have like a 3 hour post game meeting with us and then the team and whatever. So obviously
oh,
we didn't get a chance to hang out, but Morgan and I get back to our hotel room, and right in front of our hotel room door is In-N-Out burgers, French fries, and milkshakes waiting for us. Because she knew we probably had in. So she came and dropped it off at the hotel, and it was a bummer because we didn't get to really see her, but that's just her, man. That's just like who she is. I remember when I had my daughter, I won't tell you the explicit message that she left me, but she sent like 3 huge baskets of like food and flowers and all this stuff to my house. And she just doesn't miss. She just doesn't miss. And it's easy to be big time and forget
forget the little people. Yeah.
Like, to her, there really isn't any little people,
No.
And you can tell, because you can tell the people that showed out for her at the game last week. I mean, she had people there that she went to middle school that she's still homies with, and like takes care of them. Like, they had their kids there and she knows all of them. And it's just really, really special. I think that there should eventually be like a movie on her life, like just the whole immigrating over here and everything that her went through and sacrificed. They didn't have a lot of money, and still found a way for her to go and chase her dream and do what she wanted to do, and supported it. And then there's just a lot of elements to her story that don't get talked about. And the cool part about her, Steve, is like she's not really on social media. She's super, super private. She's very, very close to the vest.
She's smart.
When you're close to her, you get to experience some of that. But from a higher perspective of it, she's one of those really famous athletes that like she's just very, very private, like about her life, about her kids, and like she's not in it for the glory and the let me post this, or I got this on social media. Like, she just is who she is, and she stayed true to that, and it's so rare nowadays.
It is.
So she's the best. That's all you could say.
No, she is. And I know that she always had a good relationship with Gino, and
Yep.
and she would have no problem at all screaming at Gino if she wanted to. I remember watching that, and I would be like, wow.
Well, like, they're the same person, besides one has a penis and one has a vagina. Like, they're literally like, which is why they got along so well, which is also why they bumped heads so much. Like,
I know.
It was cool.
Great.
Him and CD came out, and after the game, I saw him over talking to her dad in Italian, and it was just cute to see. It's just they sent their kid to the other side of the country and trusted this guy to take care of her and do what's best for her, which obviously he did. But it's just it's so crazy when you see it all come full circle like that, and just the genuine love that people have for her and she has for everybody is so I wish I saw more of that.
Do you know, was she seriously considering any other colleges before UConn? Or was it UConn all the way?
A lot of people thought maybe she'd end up at like a UCLA because she's such a Cali girl. I mean, she was recruited by all the top programs, but and then she flies out to freezing cold Connecticut, falls in love with the coach, falls in love with the vision, and that's it. And I think, again, I mean, she could have gone anywhere. She would have been crazy successful wherever she went, but I think she saw something in him that she believed he would bring out the best in her, and really push her to heights maybe she didn't even think she would have. And she could have gone to UCLA and probably scored 5,000 points. I don't know if they would have won a national championship, but she wanted that. Like, she wanted to be a part of something really special. So there she was, packed up Chino and headed on out.
So I also wanted to ask you, I will segue to your favorite person, Stephen A. Smith. I happened to watch a clip yesterday of Stephen A. Smith. I don't know who the two girls were, and Shannon Sharp arguing over Caitlyn Clark winning Rookie of the Year. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I didn't. Stephen Sharp is still employed. That's amazing.
Shannon Sharp.
Or Shannon Sharp. Well, he's still employed. That's
He's still employed. Yeah.
After his Instagram live stream.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, listen, like, I don't know what the argument was about. There really shouldn't be one. I mean, listen, she's by far had the best rookie season of anybody. I thought it was kind of ridiculous that she got some like second place votes for MVP. I mean, I don't know about that, but I think
I think he thought the other one should have got it. Angel Reese. Stephen A. Smith.
I want whatever's in his coffee in the morning, because that guy is just like, I mean, again, like, don't talk on stuff you don't know. It's like, listen, she broke every like rookie record there was this year.
I saw that. I finally saw the clips of her.
Angel Reese didn't play the last 8 games of the year because of an injury. Like, I don't even see how you could possibly put up an argument. I thought that her being unanimous Rookie of the Year and A'ja Wilson becoming unanimous MVP was spot on.
I agree.
100% spot on. No questions asked there at all. I was happy to see that it was unanimous on both counts, because there really was no question this year.
No, not at all. And I mean, I didn't realize. I read an article about the economic impact that Caitlyn Clark had to the city of Indianapolis. I mean, they're averaging over 17,000 people per game.
She's
merchandise.
a unicorn right now. She's a unicorn for the WNBA, and like, God, like, go ahead. You know, it's,
I didn't realize that she is. I mean, I knew she made a difference, but the extent of that difference, I had no idea.
Unicorn that the NBA needed.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. The argument was not over Rookie of the Year. It was over the Team USA thing. That's what they were fighting over. Because Shannon Sharp thought that she should have been on Team USA. I think Stephen Smith did not, and the girls, the poor girls, made the most sense, and they both said that she, like you said, she had the type of second half of the season she had because she was able to get that time off. That time off was critical. And who knows what would have happened had she had been on the USA team and played and not gotten that break. She needed that break.
Yep.
That's what they were fighting about. But Stephen A. Smith is just, I mean, you could make a cartoon character out of him.
I mean, those guys just like, they love to just disagree with facts, just to disagree with facts. I mean,
yes, they do. Yes.
You know, we've already, like, why are we even still talking about that at this point? Like, it's over. The Olympics is over. We won the gold. What else do you want? You know?
Yeah.
It's those guys are just crazy. I hope that they can find like a female better version to be.
No, the girls were great. The two girls that were great.
No, they have to wait until those two are talking over each other to make some form of a comment. Or now I can't even watch it. I don't.
They just scream over each other.
Yeah.
It is frustrating. My father can't stand it, and I try to explain to my father again. He's playing a character. It's like he's an actor. Like, this is what they want from him. They want him to be over the top, loud, obnoxious, and opinionated. And that's what he's doing. Whether he feels that way or not, that's what he's doing. So you can't, like, that. You're getting upset, but you're still watching because you're upset.
Yeah, see, I don't watch. I'm like, I'm upset and I'm still not watching. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't watch him. I mean,
not tune in, but
I thought when he was partnered with Skip Bayless, they would have constructive conversations and legitimate takes and debates. And then because the popularity soared, then it got way over the top with both of them. And then I think Skip Bayless was the one that ended up leaving, and then they bring Shannon Sharp in, which I was shocked to see that. I did not understand why they would go with him, because there's so many others out there. But now there's three. Is there 3 games left in the season?
No, they're done. So the playoffs started on
They
Sunday.
did. Okay.
As I predicted, Atlanta slid into that last slot.
And you predicted Minnesota too, moving up.
So New York beat
Wow.
Atlanta pretty easily. Minnesota actually, Phoenix gave them a game. It's too bad that they couldn't squeeze it out. A couple of missed shots towards the end, because I don't know if they'll be able to come that close again on Wednesday. So they play that second game on Wednesday. So the way the WNBA, the first round works is the first 2 games are at the higher seed. So it doesn't go back and forth, which is kind of, that's why that higher seeding is so important, because you don't split those first 2 games. So you don't get a home game if you're the lower seed unless you push game 3. So Indiana lost to Connecticut. Caitlyn Clark played awful. She was like 3 for 17 or something like that. I suspect that the Fever win tomorrow night. I think that they'll split, but you never know. And then who else was it? Las Vegas beat
Vegas.
Seattle.
I was going to ask you about if you think they have a chance
that they won by as much as they did. I feel like that should be a closer series. But
do they have a chance though to win the championship again?
Seattle, so like, here's the interesting part of all of it is like, because Las Vegas had in the middle of the season that spell where they weren't playing well, right? So they got the 4th seed, which means if they beat Seattle to advance, they now play New York to go to the WNBA championship. So, which really in reality, in the beginning of the season, everybody had Las Vegas and New York dubbed as 1-2, right? That was the championship last year. So Minnesota, as the 2 seed, actually has an easier route to the Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
For a second. I'm getting phone calls left and right.
Well, you have 48 jobs, so
yeah.
No, you're right.
But so it'll
Minnesota,
see how the rest of the playoffs, play out or whatever. But I mean, it played out exactly how I thought it would. We'll see how the games play out today and tomorrow. You got 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow night. So you got what is it tonight? Tonight is Atlanta, New York, and then Las Vegas, Seattle, and then tomorrow is Indiana, Connecticut, and then Phoenix, Minnesota is the late game. So.
And the girl that I may or may not be seeing, Kelly, she wanted to know if you guys danced as much as Paige does, because she watches her TikToks and sees her dancing all the time.
Listen, we used to dance, but we used to like dance in Huskies. Like
that's what I was talking about. Like
we never recorded
the jersey
ourselves. Yeah, we didn't record ourselves dancing. But you have to remember there were still flip phones back then. And I think I didn't even get a camera on my phone until sophomore years when those, I had a Nokia before that. So yeah, no. And I gotta be honest, I don't think we would. Like we were
I don't think you would either. We
were so dialed in. Like that's what kids do for fun now. Like we were playing cards, like we were watching, like we used to binge watch movies back when, we still had DVDs back then. Like, we just weren't doing stuff like that. I mean, we were
just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
We were just
and so it's Golden State who will have the number 1 pick, and that's who she'll end up going to.
Well, let's put it.
You
Yeah,
think?
I mean, it usually goes to the expansion team unless they put them in the regular
The
lottery.
lottery. Okay.
So if that's the case, I mean, she could end up in LA, which would be insane for her. You
You
know,
think that'd be good for her or not good for her?
uh, from a how do I put this the right way? From a marketing
Marketing
perspective,
perspective, yeah, of course.
I
Yeah.
think I think for her that's a no-brainer. But she's going to make money no matter what city she's
Yeah.
in. Um, so I don't really think that matters too
Oh,
much.
that's the other thing I wanted to ask you about. Reggie Bush filed a lawsuit um, requesting and suing for back pay for NIL money he never received.
Hmm.
Uh, I think Diana should do that. Can you imagine if Diana was around when NIL came into place? I mean, Diana would have gotten some
She
sweet
won't.
NIL.
She won't. But she doesn't need
No,
to. You know,
no,
Reggie
she doesn't
Bush.
need to.
He his professional career didn't really
No,
pan out the
no.
way that he thought it was going to. So
They gave him his
yeah, I mean,
Heisman Trophy back. I was just surprised that he's pushing for money. It's like you're
yeah,
lucky you got your trophy back,
right.
and it's not vacated anymore,
Yep.
and you still want to sue for that. I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, and then I wanted to ask the NFL weekend. Was there anything that you liked? Anything that stood out to you from some of the games? Anything you watched?
I watched a bunch of games this weekend. Of course,
Oh,
Sunday, the WNBA playoffs was on at the same time as all the football games. So I don't know.
okay.
It was hard. I was kind of toggling back and forth. It seems to me like Kansas City is like just squeaking out wins every week.
That's
Um,
crazy.
they just don't seem to be dominating like I think everybody thought they
Yeah.
would. I do like. I mean, I still like them. Travis Kelsey hasn't been playing that well. So I'm sure there's drama on
No.
why that is. But who else did I watch? I watched some of the Bills game. The Bills looked really good yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Travis Kelsey, they had gone into this season trying to limit his reps,
yep.
trying to really control it and because he takes all the reps. So they have I was watching it too because Kelly is a Taylor Swift fan and obviously now a huge Travis Kelsey fan, and she would be complaining that he wasn't on the field. She wanted to, where is he? I can't find him. I'm
Yep.
like, well, he's not out there. Like, well,
Yeah.
why isn't he out there?
Yep. So,
Well,
I think
they're trying to lighten his load.
yeah, the Panthers woke up this week. They came out of hibernation, so I think that shocked some people. Again, I think it hurts some survivor leagues. Anybody who's been betting against the Panthers every week took one to the chin.
Andy
But
Dalton, yeah,
yeah, the Bengals, they're another one too. I'm like, they just can't pull it together either. I just
0-3. I couldn't believe that.
I know
That
it's just insane. You have this unbelievable quarterback, and you guys can't. I don't know.
and then Dallas too. Dallas looked
Oh, they're awful.
atrocious.
They're just awful. They're just
Nobody feels sorry for Dallas though.
no, 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 nope.
You can't feel sorry for Dallas. I was happy for the Vikings and Sam Darnold.
Yep,
He's been through hell and back going
yep.
to New York and then Carolina, and I'm glad that he got a chance with Minnesota. And I'm not anointing him just yet, but for the first few games, I mean, kudos to him. The Panthers for drafting the quarterback that they did in Bryce Young. I just I don't get that. I think that was, I mean, some people say that hindsight, anyone would have taken him with the first pick. But if you just look at his size and what he can do, he just is too small. I know he had an amazing career, Heisman Trophy winner, but he's just small.
Yep.
And quarterbacks, it's tough.
Yep.
there's so few that are at that elite level. And you like Mahomes, like you really need one. The only reason Kansas City has been pulling it out is because of him. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a spectacular supporting cast.
No,
He's got above average receivers.
good. So good.
Yeah, no. If like they traded Tyreek Hill and that was his guy, and he still managed to come back and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he has very, very little otherwise with Travis Kelce, who they try to take away. Their
Yep.
defense plays well, but for them to be as low scoring as they have been
Yeah,
is surprising.
it's nuts. Yeah. So
I was shocked to see that because they really they were on the ropes for a while. And then you mentioned Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow's probably at least in the top 5 as far as quarterbacks go. And for them to be 0-3 is criminal. I don't know how that happens.
yeah,
And
and I like Lamar Jackson. So
oh
I tend to watch Baltimore. I'm glad that they got one this week.
yeah.
Because I like him. I think he works hard. Seems like a good dude. He's talented. So I was happy for him this week.
I would not have paid him. I like him too, but I would not have paid him the money that they. I mean, every starting franchise quarterback is going to command now $200 and something million guarantee or whatever. But
Yep.
I wouldn't have paid him. But then talking to my other co-hosts, it's like, okay, you're not going to pay him. Who are you going to go with?
Right.
It's like, well, if you look at it that way, you're probably right.
Yep.
And then it's the same thing with the Dolphins quarterback. I mean, he's in concussion protocol, Tua, and who knows what's going to happen with him. I mean, he's had some.
If he wants to have a long life, he needs to retire, in my opinion.
I think so too. I think so too. I mean, he's had 5 really.
I mean, your health is just
bad ones.
like way too important. It's crazy. But he's another one though. He just takes too many gambles out there, and it's like you're putting yourself in compromising situations. It's stupid.
Well, that's what frustrated me about UConn was the quarterback, Nick Evers. He's running the ball, and they're calling designed runs, and I'm like, this guy just got out of concussion protocol. Why are you calling designed runs? You want to get him hurt again,
right?
And you're paying this guy. Like you got to be careful. Like some of these coaches are just so stupid.
Yeah.
And the other good thing that I like, Saquon Barkley, I was very happy for him. He had a good week.
I had a monster week. Yeah.
You know what? I think I told you I watched the Giants Hard Knocks, and it was during the off season, and it was before the draft and the negotiations with him. And I would fire the entire staff because they were just so nonchalant about Saquon, and there was no sense of urgency to get something done. They were just like, whatever, we'll let him test the free agent waters. And the Eagles didn't even pay him that much more, and they could have matched it, and they didn't. And now they have that in Singletary, who's just a guy. But I do like the Ravens, and I do like Derrick Henry. I think he's a big help. So we'll see what happens. Did you say there were games tonight for the WNBA?
Yeah, there's 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Who's on tonight?
You got New York, Atlanta, and then Las Vegas, Seattle.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'll make sure to check that out. What about you? You got anything going on today or the rest of the week?
I'm just working.
Besides the garage?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to my garage now. It's like freezing here today.
Oh, it's cold out.
Yeah, well, I'm down by the water, so it's like 10 degrees colder down here, I feel like, than it is inland. So I'm about to put a sweatshirt on because I'm like really chilly.
Down by the water, is that like New London? Down by the water?
No, I'm in Stratford, so like Fairfield,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
by the sound. So actually, so where I'm sitting right now in our room, we have these big windows, and there's an airport that flies right over the marsh across from us. So as I'm sitting here, I've probably seen about. It's amazing how many airplanes go in and out of this tiny airport every day, but it's kind of soothing. Like I really love it.
It's
Um,
like that white noise or whatever. It doesn't disturb
yeah,
you.
like it's just neat to see the planes coming and going every day. Some of them are helicopters, but you got the Sikorsky aircraft over here, so they go right by the window, in and out all day.
And the kid's doing all right in school. She likes her class and everything.
Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's good. She's got her first fall tournament next weekend. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so she had her first practice last night. So we're dialed into that. And
and you're not coaching her, right?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. I like to just be mom.
No,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good that you're not meddling. You're not meddling. I that's tough not to do. So
yeah, for sure.
so
So
that's good. So you got a lot going on. Big
yeah,
weekend. The restaurant's doing well.
yeah, everything's good. Everything's good.
All right. Well, I'll have to talk to you. I'm definitely next week, but this week, if we come out Friday, maybe if are you there Friday nights?
Uh, I will be if you're coming out.
Okay, you will be if I'm coming out. All right, I'll let you know then if I'm coming out
All right,
because
sounds
I definitely want to see it for sure.
all right. Good, good.
Um, but another wonderful episode. I would also like to thank our sponsors at Green Street Trust International, Rennell Jump and his team. They do asset management protection, and they try to help you with your tax reductions. To schedule an appointment today, go to calendly.com/Green Street Trust. I think that's it. Calendly. I don't know how you say it.
Calendly.
That's how you say it. Do you have
Calendly.
one of those?
No, but I've dealt with people who use that. So
Okay. Okay.
know what it's about. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Schedule an appointment with Rennell, and he is anyone who works with him. He is donating money to Bleeding Blue for Good. And then tomorrow on Husky Talk, it's going to be a big one. We got Mike Burton coming on. Very excited to talk with him. Haven't talked to him in 20 something years. And then then a couple days later, the Trisha Bailey interview. I'm going to be a nervous wreck for that one.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Do you know her?
I
Or
know.
have you?
I don't know her personally.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I get nervous interviewing women, so that's all.
Yeah.
I told all the girls that. I told the volleyball girls that, and Bethany Hart.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I've been scared of you for 20 years, but
Oh, no need. I'm not scary.
no, you're not. You're not. But thank you again,
All right.
and for another fine episode of Conversations with Cully and Conlon, my lovely co-host and co-heart, Maria Conlon. I am the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw